All right, welcome. I think we're live. I think we're streaming. Everything should be working fine. And I'd like to thank you guys who are currently watching. Just to do a quick test to see how much I'm lagging and how smooth things are. Please just drop me a comment, say hi, say hello, let me know who you are, where you're from. Um, yeah, I think today's topic is a very interesting one, but before we get into that, I just want to introduce what this is. Design streaming sessions from Do Better UX is really just me geeking out on a couple of things that are, making waves within the design industry. Like last week, well, not last week, during the week, I was speaking about a Figma plugin, and today I am speaking about something that I also think that it might be it might have a very huge effect on the design industry itself. So bear with me. This is a very chilled out format of doing things. It's me literally geeking out and talking about some of these things that are happening within our industry. So if that is something that you would like to see more often, I would like to find out how often would you like to see these shows. So we're still this is the third episode. We're still very much in sort of like the prototype phase of this show, if you can say that. We're still trying to set up things. We're still trying to get cameras going. We're still trying to get the actual stream just be nice and solid and smooth, so that we can interact live and make sure that people are getting a good experience out of this. The point is to you know really engage with the design community that is in UX design and try and figure out different things together. I'm not an expert in any of the things that I speak about here. Maybe I might be in some of the things that I might be talking about here, but yeah. Today's topic is GPT-3, and I'm sure that we've had a lot of waves, and there has been some shocking examples of what this open AI language can do. But before we get into that, I just wanted to ask you, if you are live right now and you're not part of the Do Better UX LinkedIn group yet, please go to LinkedIn right away. If you're watching this even after the live stream, please do join the group. We try and have an extension of these conversations that we are trying to broadcast in different places online. That is sort of like the place where all the do better UXers, design thinkers, people who are in product design and who are just trying to create the next level of cool stuff out there, using the best processes and tools out there. So check out the LinkedIn group, and please join us. So it's Do Better UX. Everything is Do Better UX, whether you want to check us out on Twitter or anywhere else for that matter. So enough talking about other things. I'm sure you're here for me to, tell you what GPT-3 is and all of that jazz, but actually, that's not what I'm going to do today. I'm going to go and, pretty much discuss, the different things that have been happening um, since about over a week ago. Um, so about over a week ago, we saw, a lot of tweets coming out, especially this one. It was one of the big, you know, um, ones that were there. It's got like 40K likes. And this tweet here was very, you know, um, touchy to a lot of designers, because this is AI just, taking basic general language, basic English, layman's terms English, and turning it into something that you can actually use. So it's not just about the design at this point, it's actually building different things. So there's a lot of other different scenarios of what GPT-3 can do, and what it is capable of. So there's examples in Excel, and people have applied it in other places, right? Um, but before we go into all of the craziness and the hype that actually went, this week, I got alerted about this. I haven't been following, the different versions of GPT-2 and GPT-1. If there was, I don't have a lot of information around those versions, but I've over this past week, um, I've been looking at, GPT-3 and what AI is doing. And it's really amazing work what these guys are working on. They're trying to really, revolutionize the way that we look at the world, using AI. And I know AI is a big buzzword to a lot of people. Um, but OpenAI is using that Elon Musk money, to be able to move and develop AI to the next level. And GPT-3 means generative pre-trained transformer 3. So there was, transformer 2 and transformer 1. And basically what these things are is an unsupervised transformer language model, that can sort of like process natural language into actual meaningful stuff, right? So OpenAI, when they launched this, they stated that GPT-3 has succeeded, in what they call meta learning, and it has sort of like taken this, next level. I mean, they talk about parameters, in this world of AI and how it knows things. So basically, that is the amount of things that it knows and the variables, that is able to calculate and make things that are a little bit more reasonable. So the more of these parameters it is able to rinse and repeat, for accuracy, you are asking it or feeding it in, right? So the predecessor of this, GPT-2, had about 125 1.5 billion parameters, whereas this one has got 175 billion parameters. But anyway, this is not a technical coding technology, googly glab session. I really want to talk about how this affects the way that we will be designing products in the future. Now, looking back at the adoption of GPT-2 and GPT-1, there has been a lot of hype around it, but there hasn't been really so much of actual applications that we have seen um, dominating in the market that use this technology, right? So it's an interesting thing to look at and see, because one thing is what is the capability of this technology, and another is how do we actually use it and how do you apply it? Do we have the skills for us to be able to apply this? Do we have the skills and the capacity to be able to learn how to use this technology and make a difference in people's lives? So you find out that we have this technology and it's available to everybody. I mean, the GPT-3 is not available to the public. OpenAPI thinks it's too dangerous, like they did with the GPT-2, and they're trying to just give people public API so that they can control what, people are actually doing with it. Sort of like creating a firewall basically, for themselves um, to be able to control how much people use this. I mean, I can see scenarios where this thing can be used for bad, right? But yeah, back to the examples. I was chatting to Sharif. I think he's a very cool gentleman. He couldn't. I'm guessing since he's been posting these examples, he has definitely not, he had a lot of DMs, and I was even surprised that he actually had the time and the courtesy to respond to me. So thank you, Sharif, for hollering back at me. I really appreciate it. But Sharif is the guy who sort of like started taking out. I'm not gonna go into these examples into detail. I'm gonna go into the Figma one into detail because I think that one is the one that touches a lot of designers' feelings. But having said that, I think he sort of like started the hype, and most of his tweets from about a week ago or so are the ones that really raised up the whole interest around what is the capability of this product. You can check out Sharif's work. I think he does some great stuff. I'm not associated with him, but yeah, I think some of the stuff that they do at Dbuild and Y Combinator, some great stuff. Um, there are a couple of apps that they're working on. I wonder how many of these will be sort of like open API based. But yeah, interesting guy. Follow him on Twitter if you're not already. I think yeah. I hope that we can have him on a podcast or something sometime soon on Do Better UX. We do have a podcast called Not a UX Designer, ironic for Do Better UX. But Not a UX Designer is a podcast that we do, and we try and take out an episode every week. It hasn't always been the true case, but we're trying to just churn out more content and talk about things while they're still fresh and current and hip and happening, and stay on top of those trends. So yeah, check out Sharif. Shout out to you. Hope to have you on the podcast if you're listening to or watching this sometime soon. So there were a lots of examples that we saw coming out, on Twitter over the past week. So let me just go here. There was things that GPT-3 can sort of do and analyze, like the language of this AI, like the output language, the human language that it has. It's super, super, what can I say? It's super, um, I don't want to say complicated. I want to say matured. I think that's the word. It's super mature that um, you actually get to a point where um, you're thinking this is some Shakespeare stuff that's happening here, right? That's how mature this language is. But what does this mean for the design world? Is this something that we should be scared of? I don't know. If you think this is something that we should be scared of, or if you think this is something that is going to open doors and doors of opportunities for us, please let me know in the comments what you think, where you see this going. I personally am super excited about this. I think GPT-3, if we are able to adopt it well, we will be able to play around with it and build really cool products. I mean, check this one out. This one was a little bit of a quirky one, not one of the best one, but basically here, the AI is looking at this image, reading the ingredients. First of all, it's trying to figure out where the ingredients are, and it's assessing the ingredients and applying an emoji to each one of those. So there's all of these cool different quirky applications that can be used into this. And I'm really interested to know, like, what are some of the things that you're already thinking about that you could use this technology for. Again, join us on Do Better UX LinkedIn group and let us know what you think you can use this on, and what are some of the ideas that you really see that can change humanity and the way that we actually build products. I think for me the biggest thing is that this changes the way we build products. It changes the the thinking around the time and the effort it takes to build products. It's like building product. It's like building websites before the days of WordPress, right? It was super hard for the general person, the basic, person on the side of the road to get something like a Wix or a WordPress to just, um, have a graphic user interface where they can play around and move things around and configure things around. So if you look at it, it's like we came from having coding interfaces only on computers, and we had graphic user interfaces to be able to compute. So I think it's really about accessibility and making GPT-3, or making tools that use GPT-3 as a backbone to be able to allow designers and product designers and people who are trying to create solutions for humanity's problems a little bit more easier and faster for people to do. So a task like web design back in the day was something that was very specialist based only, and right now anybody can create their own website. It'll be cool for us to get to a point where we are able to have tools that are based on this AI languages that are able to do more things for us, which is really optimizing the workflow of humanity and how people do everything. How do we optimize the way we work, the way we do things, so that we can think about solving other things, right? I think that is what evolution is about to me. um, Before the internet, when the internet came, we thought, oh, our jobs are going to be taken and all of that stuff. But we learn how to use these things, and we get better as humanity. There is still a huge, what can I say? There's still a pretty huge divide around knowledge and what people get, where people get different things. Um, but I think it's really important for people to realize that progression is always change is always hard. Progression is always good. It might be a little bit difficult at first, but I think it's something that we can work towards and adopt. So it will be really interesting to see more of the design community, or people who are building products for the design community, adopting this type of technology to build better products. We've already started seeing it in the example that was put out there, where it's called Figma design. Let me see if I can find it here. So basically, this is a Figma plugin. I think this is it here. No, this might not be the original one actually that I saw, but let's see how this looks like. navbar with a square logo, CTA. So this is basically somebody describing. Yeah, I think this is the same Figma plugin. Um, and there we go. Boom. This is now when we're looking at something like this. I mean, this is a whole, you know, career, a whole person's life worth of career and learning that has been bought by money into computing power, and this um, AI has been taught to generate all these cool things. But just looking at this, it's like, does it mean that as designers we don't have work anymore? Maybe if you're like a UI designer and and all you do is sort of like create layouts, this could be very threatening to your job right now. But I think for people who are into product design, design thinking, who are into facilitation and other sort of like thinking solution problem solving based work, um, this kind of stuff really excites us because um, we look at it and we're like, oh, this is cool. Then we actually don't need you know 14 days to be able to generate this interface or whatever it is and get it through prototyping and testing. And anybody could really, describe this. But again, if you look at the descriptions that this person is putting in here, um, they're also very coming from a knowledgeable point of view, right? So if we go back here, the description is about, create a nav case study with space holder on the stuff, yeah, it's natural language to a certain extent. It's design language to a certain extent as well. So depending on how you look at it and how you you sort of like do your work and how you help your current your clients right now, this could be a very scary thing for you, a very exciting thing for me personally. Super 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 excited about this because um it it means that we can have more time actually solving problems and not moving pixels around, not just pushing pixels, right? So um, I have been trying to switch my career around from pixel pushing to try and do more of the actual problem solving and thinking work. It's not always easy to find that type of work because there's a lot of production work that needs to be done, and sometimes you just need to keep your hands dirty and do the production work. But this type of stuff is very interesting. So I'm just scrolling through Twitter here. I'm trying to see if I can find the initial example, the initial Figma. Let me see if I say GPT-3 Figma, if anything comes out there. Okay, so it'll be really interesting to see, I mean, if this has been out for some time now. So let's see what Opens API released. This was on the 11th of June, releasing an API for accessing new AI models developed by API. So allowing users to try it on virtually any English language task. So the idea of this thing is to just, speak into it and, give it any English language based stuff. I wonder how much it would take, or how much effort it is for this to be able to access more languages and other things like that. It'll be really interesting to see how it happens. See how users are applying for the API. Now, I'm not a developer. I really wish I had pursued my CSS career, my sort of like front end development career. But I'm not a developer, and but if you are and you're watching this, or if you are a coder, but really interested in design as well, well, I'm sure you've heard the hype. You probably have been on this page before me. So here's a demo, one simple integration that gives you access to our consistently improving AI. So that means, it's getting better and better every day. I don't know what consistently, how frequency, what that frequency is. Explore how you integrate with the API with this. All right, so text generation. Okay, so this is the AI basically responding to whatever this booply doopy is. If you're watching this and you want to help me with what's happening, in here in the comments, please let me know. Let me know in the chat what I should be doing here. Speech to bash. Okay. All right. Anyway, if you're a developer, that's where you find it. If you're interested in seeing what it does. But this thing is super cool. I mean, look at this. And this is not just interfaces, right? So the Figma one was, where, okay, I think this was the original one that I'm looking for. So this guy's right things that I hear, right? And is able to actually generate the interface with a feed in it. But this is just looking at, it working in Figma. But this is actually something that can build its own, fully React apps on its own. So it's an AI that can write its own apps. I'm trying to look for the example where it's creating a search engine. So basically, this guy describes this is just a watermelon button. Here's the search engine. So I'm sure you've seen this, and I'm just repeating most of these things. Just look at the comments here. Yeah, definitely. So thank you, Paul, for being here. It's good to see you. Kelly Williams, shout out to you. So yeah, so if you look at this example, in this example, this guy is basically has built a search engine, and it actually works. Like, it's a fully functional search engine that works. Like, this is really powerful stuff. Let's see what is happening in this one. Okay, I'm not sure what's happening here in Hindi, but I've seen other examples as well. Like, there was an example where it was looking at a book, and according to what was on the page, it was generating poetry at the bottom of the book. And yeah, this is really interesting stuff, guys. This is really powerful stuff. And so maybe let's talk about what it means for for design and the different industries that are out there, right? So again, like I said, this is not something that is new. It's something that Open AI and other companies like Google have been working on, and have released other versions of this um, already. Um, but having said that, you know, what does it mean for the world of how we build products, how we look at teams, how we collaborate with each other, and who does the work? How do we, what projects are we focusing on? Are we, are we looking at building more tools that are based on, open AI and sort of like this AI models, to make smarter tools for human beings to work? Or do we just want to keep on designing tools in the same, ways that we've been doing? Um, Whichever way that people see it, I think the race has started, to be honest, because if you look at how a lot of things started, I think GPT-3 is sort of like the beginning of a new era of the internet age, and how things work. If you look at some of the things that it can do when it comes to creating images and things like that, there's a lot of cool different things that AI can actually do. So let me see if I can just show you um, some completions. So these are images that actually do not exist, right? These are totally pixel by pixel generated images from AI that has um, that is just creating these images from scratch, right? Pixel by pixel. So this is the kind of stuff that I think more and more people in the product and technology and design world need to think about. I know that there is, adoption, things that we need to think about. I know that there is just how scalable corporates are, and how you know people work. But I think living in the internet age and in the internet era requires us to have, a high tolerance of speed, and, trial and error, and being able to do things as we progress, right? Because these type of things open a gold rush, and as much as we get into this gold rush, a lot of people get left behind. And I'm speaking this from, being a product designer based in South Africa, where I feel like, UX design lives about a year behind from what the rest of the world is doing. And funny enough, when I've been speaking with other people around, they've been, sharing the same sentiments with me from places like France. They also feel like, they're a little bit left behind when it comes to UX design, which is interesting. Um, but anyway, the point is, having um, having to think deeply about, and having to design and develop products intentionally, according to where the world is going, and not necessarily according to um, how the trajectory of how people are thinking, right? Because I think it's two different things. I think where the world is going and how people are thinking, most of the time, are not necessarily moving in the same direction, because a lot of people get surprised by these type of things when they actually hit the market, and they're like, oh, okay, cool. There's a new design app, Figma 6.0, that uses voice, and you can just simply speak to the thing and it designs for you. Or it's actually just a speaker or a microphone that sits in your brainstorming sessions, and it records your session, and out of that it synthesizes, a report of what happened in the session, and maybe some design prototypes of the ideas that were happening in the session. Now that would be really cool to see, and it would be a really interesting world to move into, because I think right now we're trying to sell services to people and try and enable businesses to have, just simple basic integration. But I think once we get to a point where we have the tools that optimize our workflow, that optimize the way we do things, we get to a point where we are really able to solve for the things that really matter the most, right? So we can get in a room, and instead of us figuring out how we're gonna build this website or this marketing strategy, we can just discuss it and literally just brainstorm it and see what comes out of it. So yeah, GPT-3 is super exciting for me. I'm interested to see the adoption that comes out of it. And when I say the adoption, I mean, more things like the Figma plugins that people are doing. And, I'm really interested in seeing apps that are able to build other apps. I'm interested to see, um, really innovative things that give people the ability and the power to optimize how they do their work and how they build products and how they just optimize and get to the best level of doing high quality work without having to think about it the most. So that is my thoughts on open API's GPT-3. I'm really interested to know what you guys think about it, and what ideas do you see coming out of this? I'm interested to know um, what are the what are some of the predictions when it comes to adopting this technology are. I'm interested to have all those conversations, because I really want to um, to know what other other people out there are thinking, and where the trajectory is going. So Jordan Singer, like I said, he's a very interesting chap in this GPT-3 slash design um, conversation, and there just has been really cool examples that we've been seeing. This is an example of, or maybe this is not the one. I saw another example where you actually have this open API debating another open API, and yeah, they started talking about human beings too emotional and those type of things. So yeah, I got a little bit worried there, and is this like a Skynet, right? All of y'all Terminator guys, let me know if you think this is too powerful. This is something that might um, end us up in a lot of hot water with AI. But anyway, I mean, there's a lot of dimensions that we need to think about this, when it comes to building products of the future. I think I think looking at, there's a lot of trends around VR and AR and voice, um, but I think with VR and AR, there's still a huge leap when it comes to the actual hardware technology that we need to develop to be able to to consume that as users. So, with VR and AR, it's either you're using it on a device, of yours, or you are potentially um, wearing some sort of like, glasses or something that is in front of your eyes, right? So that, so I think there's a good hype, and I think there's some really cool stuff that can be done within VR and AR. But I think within AI, there is there's a really big untapped conversation that we're not having, as design folk, as product design people, because when it comes to to how we're looking at building products, we're really looking at what are the resources that are there, and again, like I mentioned earlier on, what are the skill sets that are people having. I have another comment from Kelly here. Very interesting. I feel like I have lots of research to do for this new product insights and what it can do. Definitely, Kelly. I think there's a lot of things that and again, this is not something that is super new. I mean, it's something that is more superior than the previous transformers that have been out there, but it's definitely not anything new. So I think it's a very open market for people to get into, tap into, and innovate and create. You know, the thing about adopting, about being early adopters and adopting technology is that all the early adopters are people who are heavily interested in running their own projects and doing those kind of stuff, and sometimes are hired by open AI, right? And thinking about getting those people out of the sits and collaborating with you might be a difficult thing to do, and having the skills trained across and all of that stuff takes a while, and then eventually we do get to a point where more and more people are using this. But again, the early adopter market and sort of like crowd of people would already be looking at the next best thing. And for me, I'm super interested in non-UI design. I think that's where the future of design is going, where we have voice and AI and things downloading in our brains via Neuralink. You know, think about Instagram. Think about Instagram and Spotify, all of those things without an interface, and think about how we can build products like Instagram and Spotify and Uber using technology like GPT-3, right? Um, I think the imagination is really our limitation at this point. Um, but it shouldn't stop there, because I feel like once we start just using this thing and not, developing new things and developing new ideas, we won't have anything to feed the AI to be able to do all these cool, great things for us, right? So I think, yeah, innovation is a loop, and that loop is very interesting, because it's really about the perspective that we're looking at, and the different things that we call hype, right? And most of the time people say that they're innovating, but there isn't much innovation actually happening. So let's see, GPT-3, GPT-2. So like I said, again, this is coming to you, Kelly. There was GPT-2, there was GPT-1, there was a hype around it, but again, it's the adoption. So it's it will be really interesting to see, where where this goes and how people are using it. Again, in in the last week's I keep on saying last week, God. In the previous episode of the design streaming sessions, I was talking about a Figma plugin, and I'm super excited around what Figma holds for the UX product design space, because I feel like there's a lot of things happening within the Figma community, and there are a lot of people within the developer space that are really supporting Figma and building really cool plugins. I mean, Figma is the 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 one tool that I've seen so far within the design community. That's why there's been so much hype, right? And it's interesting to know that if this was done by some early adopters, um, how more can we develop this when it's actually officially released and it's actually out there and people are um, so Kelly's asking another question here. How long has it been for? Sorry, I'm new to this. That's totally fine, Kelly. I think, this is a very techy thing. And that is why I'm having this conversation, especially within the design context, so that designers know that there are things that are out there like this, and there is all this capability. So, um, maybe you joined us a little bit later on in the conversation, but I actually had a page open where OpenAI had their release. So this was their blog that they wrote on the 11th of June. So it's been just over about a week or so since this latest version of the GPT-3, but the 2 has been there. This has been happening for a couple of years now. I'm not sure when the first one was out. Um, GPT-1. I wish I could just get like a um, you know Wikipedia link or something. But anyway, the latest one has been around for just over a week or so. There's been hype purely because of, for me, I think, there has been, I was a colleague of mine that I work with introduced this to me. He dropped it out on our Slack channel. It's like, okay, guys, our jobs are gone. The developers' jobs are gone. What are we gonna do? And I was like, okay, this is super interesting. And I've been, just doing research on it and looking at it. Into it more and more, and I've been trying to reach out to some of the people who are taking out these examples and putting these things out. So I'm hoping to have those some of these people in the conversations in the future and really get close to giving you a little bit more insight around the different things that I'll be talking about on the session. Yeah, this is the space to just geek out and talk, and interact with people and discuss around the things that are not so typical that are affecting the design community. Because, um, like you're saying, this is something that has been out for some time. There's been a wave of buzz, but not necessarily, everyone has got exposure to it. Not everybody has got, this information. So I think it's important, for content creators like myself and I to be able to echo and take out this knowledge out to people out there so that they can be able to stay aware. I think I think the problem with a lot of content creation currently is that a lot of people want to speak about the things that are trending and the things that are hyping so that they can get more and more people to follow them and sort of like, you know, sound relevant. But I I think there is good utility and purpose in trying to discuss about the things that are not so common, like GPT-3 in the world of design. I think that is a very interesting conversation we should be having as design people right now. So again, if you are watching this live or after the show, please do join the conversation on our LinkedIn group. That is Do Better UX on LinkedIn. You'll find the page, you'll find the group. You may find me as well. So yeah, let's connect there. Let's have the conversation and really bring this this different ideas and concept together. I think it's important for us to seek discomfort and get out of our comfort zones, and look forward to accepting really cool things like this. um, so yeah, I think this is that's me for this I keep on saying this week's um design streaming session, but it's not this week's design streaming session. I'm actually in between trying to figure out how often do I want to do this. Is it something that I want to do on a weekly basis? Is it something that you might be interested in seeing once on a weekend, geeking out with me on a Saturday night like this? Thank you so much for being here with me. I really appreciate that. Or is it something that you might want to see less of that? Again, please let me know in the comments if you're watching this after the show, or join the Do Better UX community. Um, and let me know what you think about GPT-3 if you're a product designer or a UX designer. Do you think it's something that is scary? Do you think it's something that is super interesting? Do you think that it's something that we should be looking at adopting more, and trying to design tools that help us optimize our work as designers and as developers, and optimize the offerings that we give to our customers and clients? Um, I think I think it opens up a great window of opportunity for product design work. I think just like the internet, it's giving us the ability to communicate like this right now. Doing these design streaming sessions, chatting online. People back in the day before YouTube and the internet um, had way more difficulty trying to do these type of things. They had to be literally physical meetups. It couldn't be just a one-man show, like I am right now, sitting in my home, doing this. So I think adopting technology as human beings is something that we need to embrace and look at without having that fear of competition and being beaten by AI, right? I mean, this is powerful stuff, but is it something that we're scared of more than um, you know when are we gonna adopt this? How long are we gonna take for us to react to this? So yeah, if you enjoyed this show, please like. If you have any comments or questions, you can reach out to me at Farima Henry on Twitter or LinkedIn, or just look up Farima Henry online. You'll be able to find me. Um, I'll be interested to know, your feedback around the format of the actual design streaming session. If there's something that you would like us to improve on, something that you'd like me to add on. But the intention really is to meet here on a regular basis and geek out on things that are really affecting our design community in a very impactful way. And I think things like GPT-3 is a big one. I think, the Figma that we spoke about the last time is a very interesting one. And I've got other very interesting things in store for the future conversations as well. Um, and I'm looking forward to having some people on the show, not necessarily people who are experts in anything, but to have sort of like a dialogue, conversational experience where we can share these thoughts and actually have a back and forth conversations without having to explicitly switch to comments and things like that. So let me know about the format that you would like this to be in and how you'd like to see everything happening. So until the next one, peace. I hope you keep safe and I hope you have a great weekend. Ciao.